Let's watch the pirate software video, man. This guy, he lies all the time. He's egotistical. He's the most ass hurt motherfucker, man. It's also really cringe to me that he nonstop brings up the fact that he used to work for Blizzard. I can't understand why he would feel the need to constantly say that. It's just crazy to me, man. Okay, like, here's the thing. I don't care enough about him to, like, I guess, like, super hate him. But a lot of the stuff that he does is just like, why? What is wrong with you? Like, why do you care so much about some of this petty shit? Like deepening his voice and pretending that he plays games blind and doesn't look up solutions. Like, why? I don't understand. Like, just either play the game blind, or it's like he really cares about people thinking that he's smart. That's one of the things he cares about. Like, it's very important to him that the people surrounding him think that he's like super intelligent, super good at video games and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just very weird to me. It's very weird. So I heard that too, that like there was this doctor, he had like a therapist or something on stream. The therapist was like, yeah, I think you're egotistical. And he said like some other stuff like that. And then the pirate software like was like, well, I disagree with you or some shit like that. Yeah. The smart hacker guy, that's the image he has sold once he started streaming. All right. Anyway, let's see the new drama. So for those of you that don't know, this one guy tried to out him for being like a gay furry or something. So even though I just kind of like shit on pirate software, for those of you that aren't aware of the drama that happened before this, there was a Twitter account that tried to expose him for like supposedly like grooming someone. And now I don't even like pirate software, but the person that tried to accuse him of like some horrible shit, right? They were just straight lying. So let's watch this video.
I have no doubt most of you have noticed over the last 10 or 11 months I've been a lot happier. Glowing, really, radiant. You can tell probably just from my voice alone and this striking smile. So what is the secret to this newfound happiness of mine? The one trick doctors don't want you to know? I haven't...
Did he stop giving a shit about other people's drama and stuff like that?
Newfound happiness of mine, the one trick doctors don't want you to know? I haven't been online as much.
Oh, there, yeah, there it is, dude. There it is, yeah.
Going outside far more frequently, spending time in the real world. And as such, I'm sure many of you have noticed over the last 10 or 11 months, internet drama hasn't been a huge focal point of the channel because I haven't seen a whole bunch of it. I haven't kept up with the vast majority of it. And of course, occasionally I've still dipped my tootsies in some of it, like if there's something particularly wacky going on, and I still cover like news and crazy shit going on with aliens and all of that kind of thing, or if there's like a really cringe, prankster that got arrested or something, I'll still talk about that.
You know, actually, guys, there for a while, man, we were covering a lot of drama on the channel, like a lot of drama, especially with all like the lawsuit that I had and like the harassment order and stuff and all that shit. It's kind of crazy because the petty funny drama doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect me too much. But like the more serious shit, it's not something I want to talk about and think about like a lot. Like, you just get fucking tired of it, man. I mean, I'm speaking from like a content creator standpoint. Now, obviously, he probably covered like way more than me. But there for a while, it was like, it was something like every single fucking, I don't know, like every month, every other week or some stuff like that, man. And we really haven't had that for a while. And it's been fucking awesome, man. And I don't know, man, after like the lawsuit and after all that drama and after like I got my lifetime protection order and all that shit, like it's done. Like, I mean, it's pretty much over. There's nothing else to really say about any of it. And it's a huge relief. And I don't know, man, I'm really fucking glad that it's all over. Anyway, look, let's just watch the fucking video. Sorry, I'm ranting.
But it's not, prankster that got arrested.
TLDR, I haven't been talking about or covering drama as much on the channel, just like Charlie said, and it's also been really good for me too.
Or something, I'll still talk about that. But it's not like a fixation for me like it used to be over the last few years where I was covering any and all internet creator space hoopla. And I want to keep it that way. I'm having a lot more fun not doing that. That being said, there is something that has unfolded here that's like the John Wick killing the dog moment that's bringing me back, just very temporarily. And it's pirate software. Yesterday I talked about stop killing games. And there's no way to talk about Stop Killing Games without also mentioning Pirate Software because of the profound effect he has had on that initiative in its demise. I say demise, but it's not actually fully cooked, but it has been on life support, and Pirate Software did play a big role in that because of 2 videos he made, as well as a stream, shitting all over it. And that's not even doing it justice. He was full-blown tooting on this. He was shitting on it with some fart on top. And a lot of what he was saying about Stop Killing Games wasn't accurate. It was a misrepresentation of the initiative. And the guy behind it, the guy spearheading it, Ross, finally...
Was there a TLDR on what he said? It's in this video.
Set the record straight on a lot of the misconceptions that Pirate Software helped to put out there and kind of exacerbate these thought processes that just weren't accurate for what the initiative was actually aiming to do.
Isn't it something about keeping a server alive? It's consumer protection stuff. Okay. I'll just.
He finally set the record straight.
Okay.
And I, of course, wanted to talk about it as someone who does actually care about it. Now, as I've said, I've been a little more off the grid. I bought a fucking farm, so I've been, living off the Lord's land recently, and I've missed a lot of the internet happenings. So Pirate Software's previous anime arcs of drama, like with World of Warcraft, and the one after that, 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 I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to. I only got little tiddlywinks, little morsels of lore about it in a few clips, so I never really even understood what was going on there. So Pirate Software's response to everything that happened yesterday really caught me by surprise. That was a subversion of my expectations, bigger than Game of Thrones Season 8.
Yeah, Hutcher, I did. I think it's really hilarious to me that that entire community is so butt mad at me for putting out a video 10 months ago about their stuff and then not being refuted, and now it's my fault that everything is going wrong for them.
I cannot believe his ego. His ego is so out of control, I feel like he's only a week or 2 away from exclusively referring to himself in third person, like Stone Cold fucking Steve Austin. And that's the truth, because Pirate Software said so. Some shit like that.
Dude, Stone Cold was awesome, man. But nah, man, Pirate... Okay, so like, dude, every single fucking clip I've seen of Pirate Software is something about his fucking ego, man. It's actually insane. Now, okay, keep in mind, man, I'm trying my best to keep my opinion on Pirate Software like as non-biased as possible, right? Because I don't follow him. I don't watch his shit. I just see clips, I see short videos, I see that type of stuff, right? But in every single one, man, it is nothing but like ego and someone else's fault and just shit like that in every single fucking one. So even if something was clipped out of context or something, the chance of literally everything being clipped out of context is like fucking 0. You know what I mean?
Crazy how he's responded. The smugness is nails on a chalkboard. It just makes you feel icky listening to it. And he goes on that same talking point multiple times in the clip about how, like, oh, I guess I'm fully to blame. I guess because I made those videos 10 months ago, it's my fault entirely that this whole thing crashed and burned. Yep. Oh boy. Time to play a sad song on the world's smallest violin for the Stop Killing Games movement, all because Big Bad Pirate Software took it all down by himself. Like, it's crazy. No one's saying that. Like, there is no one out there that is saying it is entirely Pirate Software's fault that Stop Killing Games hasn't been more successful in its endeavors. But there's irrefutable evidence that you had a detrimental effect, a majorly damaging effect on Stop Killing Games because of your misinformation that you spread about it in 2 videos and across all your streams, and not once have you bothered to correct that record. And he has said that it hasn't been refuted in 10 months. That is fish paste. That is turbo horseradish. Go to your own comment section on your videos to see everyone refuting you, as well as the innumerable other gamers and voices out there that have taken down those talking points and debunked a lot of them and proven that you just didn't understand it. And that is the big problem. No,
that's like another thing that Pirate Software does all the fucking time is he talks out of his ass. He talks with such confidence about literally nothing. Like, he will know nothing about a situation, but talk as though he is an expert on it. That's another thing that I've noticed in almost every single clips. And like all the clips that I've fucking seen, man.
one hates Pirate Software because he doesn't agree with Stop Killing Games. The reason so many people are angry at him, myself included here, you can disagree with the movement all you want. If you don't like the initiative, I'm not your fucking dad. You make your own choices there. But the reason so many people, myself included, do not like how Pirate Software is handling all this is he is refusing, outright refusing, to just admit any level of fault.
Oh, well, yeah, because of his ego. Pirate Software will never admit fault. He'll never admit that he was wrong. He's always the smartest guy in the room. Everything that he does that says is true. That's just how he thinks. And I think it comes from extreme insecurities. I think that he knows he's a fucking idiot. I think he knows he fucking sucks at games. I think he knows he's full of shit. But because he's so insecure about it and because his ego, he won't fucking admit it.
Anything. And that couldn't be more clear from these clips as well as his tweets that he's made. It's actually his tweets that really sent me off the fucking rails here, off my gourd. Let's start with this little nugget here that he deleted from last night. So he tweeted directly at Ross.
So he made this tweet and then deleted it. Okay.
The guy behind Stop Killing Games, talking about how he made those videos 10 months ago, and since then, his community has been nothing but hateful. A scourge. A fucking tyrannid threat that he must destroy. Your community.
A tyrannid threat, bro. Does Charlie play 40K? I know he plays Magic, or I know he knows about Magic because he's had some Magic open.
Is fucking rabid, and it's shit to deal with for anyone on the other side of the argument. Why do you think I haven't talked about this shit in 10 months? Why do you think we auto-mute anyone bringing it up in chat? Because it's been rage bait and shit flinging the entire time. And just goes on about like how he is the victim of Ross's toxic, terrible community, which is hilariously hypocritical coming from Pirate Software, when in his videos and his streams, he makes it very clear and is very rude about how much he dislikes not only Ross, but the movement. And it's not like he's being very...
Was it? No. Hold on. I find it funny that Pirate Software sometimes play the victim. When this motherfucker was literally... What game was that he got really shitty about... It was something in open world. And you guys know what I'm talking about? Was it in WoW? Yeah. Or no. It was in Ashes of Creation. No. It was in Ashes of Creation. So basically he was playing Ashes of Creation and there was like a rival guild and they were doing something and he ended up getting like owned and fucking killed in the game. And he threatened the opposing guild that he was going to get all of his followers and shit to join his guild and just overwhelm them with numbers. But then the reverse actually happened. The opposing guild actually pushed his guild shit in and fucking completely destroyed him or some shit like that. I saw like a couple clips, but it happened like a while ago. And he always likes to say the word bud. Like a good stuff, bud, or whatever. You know what I'm saying, man? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he got clowned on like really hard because he basically wanted to like get his whole guild, but because he's so garbage at the fucking game, you know, the other guild, they like open world PvP'd him to death. Yeah, so I always find it funny whenever he plays the victim, but then he has that mentality where he will like use his influence or whatever, you know, or whatever like that, or throw out threats and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Professional and polite about it, you know, buttoned up. Listen to it.
So this was my first encounter of him.
Oh shit, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. Now, eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's incredibly stupid.
What was the reasons?
This shit sucks.
Politicians like easy wins. Politicians mostly don't care about video games. The law is already unclear on this practice initiative. I would need more context to this actually. But
that's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I drop the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing. That sounds stupid as shit.
Yeah, I'm sure it's Ross and his community that are actually the assholes here. Brother, come on, you can't possibly be calling the wambulance with a side of French fries here about people being mean to you when you are literally the one that started the shit-flinging and name...
Yeah, if you're gonna have that mentality and then somebody claps back, you can't fucking bitch.
calling. And by the way, Ross never even addressed this for 10 months because he didn't want to dilute the initiative into just having it be boiled down to drama between creators, which I think was actually very big of him. The only reason he's talking about it now is because it's at the end of its life and so many people still don't understand it because of someone like Pirate Software misrepresenting it. So he's finally setting the record straight there. Anyway, he did delete that tweet, but just a little while ago he made a new tweet, a very long tweet as well as a series of tweets under it in regards to this whole thing. And in all these words, all this mumbo-jumbo, not once does he say he was wrong about anything. In fact, he just continues to double down, even proudly stating he is doubling down. Wow, how incredibly noble, doubling down on things you are provably, blatantly wrong about.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he will never admit fault.
Need to hit the Jumbotron for the replay on yesterday's video going over so many of the things that he was incorrect about in regards to the initiative. But the point is, that is an issue that I really thought that he would address. Be like, hey, yeah, I did get this part wrong. You're right, guys. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to misrepresent it. I still don't fully agree with it, but I do recognize that I had some errors here in my coverage. That's what I was expecting.
I have so much respect for people that can admit that they're wrong because that's really hard to do. I have a lot of respect for people that are like, yo, you know what? Yeah, I fucked up and I was wrong. You know, like what he said, I still disagree, but I was wrong about this point. But that doesn't take away from the fact that, you know, these are my reasons for disagreeing. You know what I mean? But I feel like people forget that you learn from being wrong. If you're never wrong, then you're like never learning, right? Like it's okay to be wrong. You know what I mean? It's okay to be wrong, admit your fault, and then you learn from that experience so the next time it doesn't happen.
That is not what we got. And it prompted me to reach out directly to him, to talk to him, to see, like, why isn't he acknowledging that? Is there a reason? Like, what is going on there? So I did. He made it very clear he was not very happy with my coverage of Stop Killing Games, which is fine. I think that's totally fine. I'm not going to leak DMs or really go in depth on our private conversation, but the point of me reaching out to him was to talk about his refusal to acknowledge that he did, maybe unintentionally, misrepresent Stop Killing Games, and it led to a just shy of 2 hours, like, circular argument that ultimately got us nowhere. He was more focused on his qualms with Stop Killing Games and really liked to challenge me to prove him wrong about some of his hang-ups with it. And when I would mention, like, the behavior aspect, like, hey, you did misrepresent it, and I'd give him a timestamp, he'd then instead say how I'm wrong for thinking that he misrepresented it. We got nowhere. So I want to just publicly say this again. There are plenty of things you can disagree with when it comes to the Stop Killing Games initiative. I'll put links to it if you want to learn more about it, and you can form your own opinions on it if you want to support it. If you don't like it, that's fine. That's super normal. And I didn't reach out to try and champion that Pirate Software should become, you know, a huge ambassador of Stop Killing Games, you know, out there.
The point is lying and misrepresentation. And when he messaged Pirate Software probably took it as him wanting to convince Pirate Software to, like, support him, I guess, because he's fucked up in the head. I don't fucking know. Because you're not going to get Thor to admit that he's wrong. There's no fucking shot.
On the fucking front lines fighting for it. It had nothing to do with that. It was simply about the misunderstanding that he showcased, maybe unintentionally, and the misrepresentation of it.
It was definitely intentional. It was definitely intentional because he's a liar. That's just who he is. And he just didn't like it. So he's going to lie to get other people to not like it.
Broadcast. Again, maybe unintentionally. Which has, in turn, over the course of 10 months, misled people on what the fuck Stop Killing Games even is in the first place. Which I found to be a problem because he's never even acknowledged that as something that has happened. And because he refuses to acknowledge that, and anyone that even, like, tiptoes around that subject, he kind of treats as though they're fucking idiots, like me, for thinking that he's misrepresented something. Now, he did just post a tweet where he said he talked to me and Josh Strife-Hayes, and in that tweet, this will prove how useless our conversation was, unfortunately, there's not a single peep about misrepresenting what Stop Killing Games was about. It's more so about how the public just doesn't understand game development, and it kind of reads to me...
This doesn't seem like at all like he's talking about what they discussed.
Like we're all just too stupid to understand it from his side of things. Our conversation basically amounted to toilet paper, unfortunately. Again, I was focused on, you have done this, maybe unintentionally, you should at least say that you have, or like, you know, are you aware that you did this? And then it became more of like, nope, I didn't. You're wrong. And then he uses our conversation at the start of this for something that was not even the focus. I was not there to try and
that's what I literally just said, that I think that he's completely trying to distract people from the point.
convince him to be part of Stop Killing Games. I don't think we made any ground on like his perspective versus mine on Stop Killing Games. He has some qualms about how difficult it would be in certain cases. I agree with that, for sure. I still think overall Stop Killing Games is a net positive for the gaming industry where something desperately needs to change with a lot of these awful practices. But for the 10 millionth time in the last 2.5 hours, it was just about him having this awareness that his coverage did mislead people.
Yeah.
And that he, maybe not maliciously or anything, misunderstood or misrepresented Stop Killing Games in numerous instances. And the way that he talked about Ross was unacceptable. That at least made it into the tweet there about the way he talked about Ross being like a fucking used car salesman type deal. And like,
I think it's weird that he decided to apologize for the Ross stuff, but not the other stuff. I wonder why. Like, what went through his head? Why did his ego drop just a little bit to apologize for the Ross situation, but not the things that he said that were like just factually wrong? You know what I mean? Okay, so I guess that makes sense. So in his mind, it's okay to be mean, but not wrong about a situation. Okay.
calling everything about it ass. He at least recognized that that was too harsh. So he gave a quick I'm sorry for that, which is good. I do appreciate that, and I'm sure Ross will appreciate that as well, I imagine. But I still wanted to make this video after the conversation because I just really do not understand. I truly cannot wrap my head around why he fights tooth and nail coming for throats for anyone that tries to mention that there was misrepresentation in his coverage of the Stop Killing Games initiative. He is so hell-bent on proving he's right and everyone else is wrong that's saying these things. I just don't get it. He's just treating it like he's got the mega mind, once-in-a-generation galaxy brain that no one can possibly understand. All us plebeians are beneath him, and we're lucky that he even graces us with streams, and we're stupid for thinking that he did anything wrong here in regards to his coverage of Stop Killing Games and what it's actually about. It's just so odd to me. Because if he would just come out and be like, yeah, you know what? Looking back on it, really reflecting, hearing what you guys are saying, I can see why this was so misleading for so many people. I didn't mean for it to be, and yeah, maybe I misunderstood some of these things. This would not have been nearly as big of a deal as it has turned into. And I went back and looked at some of his previous dramas, I suppose, and that is a common thread with pirate software. Like in World of Warcraft, he made a mistake, but he completely refused to acknowledge the mistake, and it made it a much bigger snowball into an avalanche for him, which led to a ton of
he will never admit he's wrong. He does no wrong. He will never admit fault, dude. He will never admit fault.
other problems. He just has this inability to, like, accept that he can make mistakes. Like, he does things wrong sometimes, and he needs to recognize that it's okay.
I feel like if he admitted to more mistakes, he wouldn't make as many mistakes. If I make a mistake and then I admit it, I'm going to like learn from that mistake.
To be like, yeah, I did do that wrong. You're right. I was incorrect in this. And it would save so much of a headache. But he just comes across as a narcissist. He really does, unfortunately. Like, I'm not an armchair Reddit psychologist here going to diagnose him as a narcissist or anything, but like, that's what it comes across as. He just refuses to admit that he ever does anything incorrectly. It admits no faults of his own, ever. Except, I suppose, to Ross here, which maybe this is the beginning of a big character development for Pirate Software.
I don't think so. I just think that he doesn't care about being an asshole, but he cares about being wrong. Because there's a difference.
Apologize to Ross for how he treated him and what he said about him. I think that's great. Would love to see that same kind of energy for understanding where people like myself are coming from with your coverage of Stop Killing Games and why people feel the way they do about what's happened since with your responses. But anyway, I won't keep yapping about it. That's really about it. So yeah.
Okay. Yo, good video. So I guess that's the recent drama. Jesus. Oh, is this from like Reddit? Nepo baby who got a job at Blizzard through his father brags about having 20 years of game dev experience when he was just a QA. Wait, really? Wait, he never actually developed any games. He was just a tester? No way. He was actually just a game tester? I didn't know that. What the fuck? Furry, he used to go by Maldavius Fig Tree. Spams YouTube shorts by dropping asinine trivial coding knowledge. Pretends he's an elite game developer and master hacker. Still hasn't released the Game Maker Undertale clone after 8 years. Smug know-it-all will often talk shit about other people and not back it up or elaborate. Insists that people call him Thor instead of his real name. Talks in a fake deep voice. Got called out on it when older videos of him at Comic-Con leaked where his real voice was nasally. Defends it by saying he went through a second puberty at 8. Is that a thing? Can you actually go through a second puberty?
Can you actually go through a second puberty? Is that a thing? I think I'm actually going through it now. Defends it by saying he went through a... Oh, wait. I already read that. Loses his mind and will ban you if you mention any of this. Will report any videos and comments that mention any of this because it's...
Oh, you know what, actually? You know, he was, like, going after people... that whole Roach Out incident. Remember when he was, like, DMCA claiming people for, like, reacting to it and shit? Dude, that was so fucking cringe.